Good morning, everyone. We're here to make several points very clear. We will always stand with our immigrant communities, and we will stand with everyone who calls our communities home. We're more than 20 mayors representing different cities of different sizes and income levels with different populations. We are all different folks, but we are here shoulder to shoulder, and frankly, we have been here shoulder to shoulder since this egregious attack by our federal government started on June 6th of 2025. We're united against the ICE raids. We're united in solidarity with our neighbors, and there are 20 mayors here to say that the ICE raids are inhumane and simply do not do anything to keep anyone safe. They create terror, division, and they need to stop. We're here to expose that truth with testimony from the hardworking people of our communities who have felt so much pain, and from people who are organizing and fighting back to keep our communities safe. So here in LA, my office and community organizations and all of the cities are working together to keep Angelenos informed and to offer assistance when ICE hurts families. I've issued executive directives to protect immigrants in LA. We've taken legal action. These raids, we know, are destroying families. The trauma that the families, especially the children's, have faced is going to be lifelong damage that we must hold our government accountable for. But we know that we have truth on our side. So I'm deeply grateful to the organizers, the mayors, and the community partners that are standing with us, who tirelessly fight every day for the rights, dignity, and safety of all of our residents. So let me introduce a champion for justice, the mayor of Long Beach, Rex Richardson.
All right. Well, good morning. I want to take a moment and thank Mayor Bass for convening all of us together. Mayors, local leaders, advocates, community members standing together throughout our region with one voice to call for an end to the trauma and hostility that this federal government has brought onto our communities. I'm Mayor Rex Richardson. I represent the city of Long Beach, a home to 500,000 residents, proud, diverse community with proud immigrant families who depend on our communities to stand with them every day. Moments like this require us to speak up together, not as individual jurisdictions, but as a region about what our communities are experiencing. And we must create spaces for those who are impacted to share their stories and bear witness to the toll that these actions have taken on our communities. Long Beach is a community shaped by immigrants, generations of families from all around the world who help build our economy, strengthen our neighborhoods, shape the culture that we're very proud of. We speak 200 languages in the city of Long Beach. And in Long Beach, we believe something very simple, but profound and fundamental, that every resident deserves dignity, safety, and respect, no matter where they were born, what language they speak, or their immigration status. But over the past year, that basic sense of dignity and safety has been under constant attack. In Long Beach and across our region, we've seen federal immigration enforcement operations that have been aggressive, heavily militarized, and deeply harmful to the communities that we serve. As a father of 2 young daughters, personally, this is not abstract. No child should have to watch a parent disappear, wondering whether they'd ever see them again. In recent months, dozens of Long Beach residents have been forcibly detained through violent operations, people who are part of our daily fabric as a city, workers heading to their jobs, gardeners and car wash employees in the middle of a shift, parents simply dropping their child off at school. Last November alone, we saw 9 individuals taken from multiple locations in a single afternoon. We've also heard troubling reports from residents across our city of masked agents conducting enforcement operations in places that should be off limits: schools, churches, parks, neighborhood businesses, places that should represent safety and belonging. These stories raise serious concerns about due process, civil rights, and basic accountability. When these actions occur, the consequences ripple far beyond the individual moments. It means families are separated. It means children are left without parents or caregivers. It means small businesses lose trusted employees. It means entire neighborhoods are left to live with fear and uncertainty. As mayors responsible for safety and well-being of our communities, we cannot ignore what is happening in our communities and what our communities are telling us. We must call out actions that undermine trust and sow fear in the very communities that make our city strong. In Long Beach, we've taken concrete steps to support our immigrant communities by funding immigration defense programs, expanding Know Your Rights training, providing emergency financial assistance to help meet the basic needs of all of our families impacted by immigration enforcement actions. But cities cannot face this alone. We cannot out-resource the federal government. That's why today's hearing matters. It's about justice. It's about accountability and transparency. It's about ensuring the voices of those impacted and the most directly impacted are heard. As mayor, I've invited community members from our city to join us today to share their experiences, and so they're a part of this regional conversation. Behind every policy decision are real people, families, and communities that are just trying to live and work and contribute to the communities they call home. So today, we're here to listen. We are here to bear witness. We are here as a coalition of cities from all across LA County to say that any law that requires intimidation in order to be successful should be no law at all, and that includes our immigration laws in America. Our region is strongest when we stand together, when we defend the dignity and rights of our community, and when we ensure that everyone can live in our communities in a way that is safe and respected. We want to thank Mayor Bass for bringing us together. We want to thank you for ensuring that we're all here standing together in solidarity for justice, for accountability, and for the fundamental dignity of all people. Thank you. Mayor Fajardo.
Sorry, Councilmember Mary Solorio, and I'll introduce the mayor as well. My name is Mary Solorio, and I'm a council member for the city of San Fernando. You know, what's happened in our communities has been horrible. One day in San Fernando, they hit the Home Depot, a flower shop, flower vendors on the street, and a car wash. I went to all three locations that morning to find our community in fear. It is not okay. As a young child of the age of 5, I was separated from my parents. Immigration authorities took away my mom and my dad from me, my 2 siblings, and we were separated for weeks. As the mayor said, this is generational trauma that is being embedded into our children. I stand here before you to say, no, we will not stand for this. Our communities will not stand for this. Our children are not to be used as pawns. They are not to be used to instill fear in the community. The city of San Fernando and the Northeast San Fernando Valley stands with Mayor Karen Bass, our champion, with organizations like Shirla and community advocates that help us every single day and say, get out, ICE. We will not have you here. We will not have you terrorize our communities. Thank you.
Good morning, Los Angeles friends and neighbors. My name is Joel Fajardo, Mayor of the City of San Fernando. I'm honored to stand alongside Mayor Karen Bass, Mayor Richardson, and all of these other incredible mayors who are all committed to protecting our immigrant community and to opposing the atrocities of ICE in our neighborhoods. This year will be remembered as a dark chapter in our nation's history. Across social media, cable news, and first-hand accounts, we've witnessed unspeakable acts. Families being torn apart, communities living in fear, children scared to go to school and uncertain if their parents will return home. And when I see these inhumane and unconstitutional ICE raids across the nation, it hits close to home. Not simply because my beautiful city, the city of San Fernando, is a city of immigrants, but because my family, like many of yours, came to this country to build a better future, to contribute to its culture, its economy, and its identity. The United States is often called the nation of immigrants because generation after generation, people come from across the world seeking opportunity, freedom, and the chance to build a better life. And these immigrants have not only become the fabric of our nation, but the backbone of our economy, and most importantly, the heroes of our everyday heroes of our community. Even in these uncertain times, they continue showing up and working hard to keep our community strong. They help feed our nation, care for our parents, run small businesses, build our homes, and keep our neighborhoods thriving. I would also like to take a moment to thank the many community activists and community leaders who are fighting every day to protect our immigrant communities and their basic human rights. They are holding each and every one of us elected officials accountable to make sure that we are doing the maximum possible to assist the immigrant community. And some activists like Renee Good and Alex Preddy have paid the ultimate price defending freedom of speech and the American Constitution. Electeds in Washington, D.C. have started to take notice, and Republicans have even spoken about pivoting away from immigration in this election cycle. But let me tell you, there is no pivoting away from deporting a 6-year-old child seeking chemotherapy in the United States. There is no pivoting away from detaining a 5-year-old child outside of his home in a freezing winter. And there is no pivoting away from the tragedy here in Los Angeles where Keith Porter Jr., a father of 2, lost his life in an encounter with ICE. My friends, we will bring this chapter of fear to an end. The country has always believed in hope and opportunity and in the promise that tomorrow can be better than today. But that promise only survives when the people demand it. And we will demand it today, tomorrow, and every day until this fascism and tyranny is behind us. Elections are around the corner, and we will hold to account every politician who refused to help our immigrants. We will restore our nation. Thank you all.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maegan Ortiz. I'm the Executive Director of the Instituto de Educación Popular del Sur de California. We operate 5 out of the 7 official City of LA day labor centers. And those day labor centers last year were the site of 15 Border Patrol raids. Border Patrol raids that I was at for 3 of them. When I became executive director of an organization that dedicates itself to serving day laborers, jornaleros, nannies, caregivers, and house cleaners, I did not think that that would mean being on the other side of an assault rifle with masked men. I did not think, especially after the murders of Renee Good and Alex Preddy, that I would have to learn how to pack a bullet hole. And yet here we are. We have seen hundreds of our day laborers, street vendors, community members stolen from parking lots across the city of Los Angeles, in the parking lots of corporations that have allowed their parking lots to become human hunting grounds. And we are not going to allow that to happen. We are not going to allow the hundreds of people who remain rotting in immigration detention facilities, facing poor health conditions, if they're getting their health conditions taken care of at all. So we are here today, yes, to correct the archive, because that's important. We need to present a real narrative of what we have experienced and what we continue to experience every day, because this isn't over. People are still getting kidnapped, snatched off the street day by day. Besides correcting the archive, we also have an opportunity here. And I'd be remiss if I didn't say that having all of these political leaders here, these mayors who have the power of the purse and policy, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity for us to look to our community organizations to see the imagination that we all have had together in terms of providing and creating mutual support networks so that we can imagine something different. It can't be business as usual. And this is an opportunity for all the mayors, as was said earlier, to really look at Southern California as a united region and see united what are those policies and practices and dollars that we're going to invest in our community and not in punitive and other sort of budgetary priorities that really serve in the criminal to immigration pipeline. So, si lo puedo decir en español rapidito también, porque yo sé que tenemos medios latinos acá en español y miembros de la comunidad. Soy Maegan Ortiz, directora ejecutiva del Instituto de Educación Popular del Sur de California, IDEPSCA. Nosotros manejamos 5 de los 7 centros jornaleros en la ciudad de Los Ángeles. Esos 5 centros han sido el lugar de 15 redadas por la patrulla fronteriza en el último año, donde hemos visto cientos de nuestros miembros desaparecidos literalmente. Hoy sí es un día para corregir el archivo de historia, para corregir y decir la verdad sobre lo que ha pasado y lo que sigue pasando. Pero también con todos estos alcaldes aquí con nosotros, también es una oportunidad de imaginar más para allá, de ver con el poder que tenemos acá cuáles son las pólizas que tenemos que cambiar y también cómo es que tenemos que reinvertir los presupuestos en nuestras ciudades hacia nuestra comunidad. Gracias.
What are you doing specifically in preparation for these fan zones or any type of interaction or communication with ICE they're planning to do? Just trying to understand what you're doing preparing for this.
Sure, sure. And let me just say that this is one of these examples where, on the one hand, we are fighting and will continue to fight until the ICE raids end. On the other hand, there has to be some level of communication with the administration. And so, one of the things that I believe is, in spite of everything that we've seen, I know that the World Cup for the administration, so far they have said, is that there won't be immigration enforcement and that people will not have a problem getting their visas to the country. Obviously, we have to wait and see how that plays out. But I will tell you, in the fan zones that we are having all around the city in 100 different locations, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that those fan zones, that people feel safe. Probably my biggest concern is that people won't feel safe and won't feel like they can come to the fan zones. That's going to be my biggest concern. But doing that education, making people feel that they're supported, being with a large crowd, I think it will provide a measure of security. But one of the other realities that we know is that this administration is unpredictable. Let me just say also, let me mention that one of the purposes of what we're doing today is to compile a record, and a record to send to Congress. We are certainly hopeful that there will be a change in power within the House of Representatives. So Congressman Robert Garcia, who conducted the first hearing, is going around the country so that when he takes over as chair, he will be able to investigate because he would have the subpoena power, etc. We will transcribe everything from this hearing. We will videotape everything from this hearing, and we will send it back to Congress so that it can be a part of the record. Yes, absolutely. And actually that increase in protection was issued when the war in Iran began, and that will certainly continue. And I don't know if anybody else wants to speak to that. Okay. Does anybody else want to add into World Cup or any of this? Okay. You know, to me, the solution, which is not a complete solution, is that we continue to organize. One of the things that we've done with mayors across the city and certainly across the region is that we are sharing each other's policies, each other's executive directives, each other's lawsuits. We're sharing all of that. When I did my executive directive Actually, I got some of that information from the mayor of Chicago because he had just done an executive directive. So by standing together, by standing united, by making sure that none of our cities feel as though they are being attacked in isolation, we stand in solidarity with each other, and we'll continue the fight. I will tell you, when this fight first started, I didn't have a lot of faith that the courts would actually back us up, but we've seen a mix of decisions. And I have, not faith, I don't want to say faith because that's a little too strong, but I am hopeful that, for example, the court decision to hold up the law in California around masking will actually be upheld by the court. Right now it's being challenged. But we've had some mixed decisions, and my thought is that Minneapolis might have been a turning point because you're also seeing a split within the Republican Party and certainly within Republican voters. But I think we should also make mention that Minneapolis represented the deaths, well, the murder of a couple of activists. And then there was certainly Keith Porter here. But there have been a number of people that have died either as a result of an ICE raid or have died in detention, because we certainly know they are not receiving adequate health care. So one of the things that we need to find out is how many people have died, what is happening in detention. And so one of the things that you'll see in the hearing is that we have people who have been documenting this every step of the way. I know if Memo from LA Taco doesn't mind me mentioning, but that's an example of journalists that have documented every single thing that's happening. The organizations that are dealing with the Rapid Response Network are documenting everything that is happening. This is an egregious moment in U.S. history, and we are standing on hallowed ground. If you just think of the symbolism of being here at the Japanese American Museum, where Japanese Americans were hauled off in buses and sent to internment camps. And so we have to always remember our history to make sure that it is never repeated. Thank you, and I think we're ready to begin.